actually heating up a section of the grass that they were trying to grow.
Oh, you could bejesus out of it.
Yeah.
You're growing grass out there? What the hell's going on?
You know, maybe it's just a field maintenance thing.
Yeah. Boyd took a dump on the field and they couldn't clean it up fast enough.
It's better than the team that he said took a dump on the field yesterday.
Right.
He's just rude.
Yeah.
You're asking this guy to be a quarterback's coach, and his quarterback stunk. It's the same thing. The guy's point is valid.
Screw you. Screw him.
Does he command the room? Does he, get respect?
His neck is too long.
Who are we talking about now?
Josh Rosen. And a big Adam's apple. You can't have that. I don't want to have to write out Ramondre every time, so I just say Dre. It's faster.
Maybe we go with Mondre.
Mondre. Well,
Yeah,
I might as well just do the row if I'm going to do Mondre.
Yeah.
Paul, if you start another poll, I'll be for Belichick staying this year.
I could see that poll moving if he did that. All right.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Fueled by Duncan.
All right. Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It's Thursday here at Gillette Stadium. And getting ready for the Miami Dolphins, a Sunday at 1 tilt here at Gillette Stadium. The second to last regular season game. We're getting down there. It's a must win for the Patriots if they want to have any hope of getting into the playoffs. So, current status. Have we heard any? Well, first let's introduce the contestants.
Hello.
We have Deuce. We have Alex gracing us with her presence. She heard the video was on today, so it's like, I'll come down today. Paul's here.
Not wrong.
And Matt's in the booth. Evan, will he be by later?
He will. After
right.
Practice, I think, is 12:35.
Okay, so it's a big show.
It's a big show.
And following our show, live on it video will be Catch 22.
Yeah.
In a Thursday at 2 time slot.
Yeah, and I just want to say, too, we're live on video, and I'm watching the comments here on YouTube. So if you want to say hello or send us a question, those of you listen on YouTube,
you can also email the show.
Or email it.
webradio@patriots.com, or call the show at 855-PATS-500. So, yeah, looking forward to a huge show. Now, Paul's going to have to leave early because he's moonlighting. Yeah, he's going to his other show. He's filling in the Felger and Maz show from 2 to 6.
It's not
just a guest spot. He's a co-host for all 4 hours.
He's gonna have to talk some Bruins, maybe. You're gonna have to talk some hot stove.
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
My guess is it'll be 4 hours of Patriots. That's what it was on Monday.
So for the first hour, he's going to be going head to head with Catch 22.
Ooh,
that's
tough.
So if no one's listening, Paul, you'll know why.
I will.
And they got the simulcast on NBC Sports Boston, so that's
well, we're on
dueling
YouTube.
video.
So you'll be happy to know, just in case, and I'll show the listeners there. I made my picks. My picks are in.
I thought you said you hadn't made your picks.
I just made them.
Within that
Real
short. Wow. Okay.
No,
just shows you the thought we put into this stuff.
With the lead that I have, I didn't really see the need to put much more time into it.
Well, you also, before you leave, have to
I also keep the book.
I know, but you also have to tell us what happened last week
before you leave.
Okay.
Before you leave.
Okay. Yeah. I have that information as well.
Okay. All right. So what's the latest on Tua?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he's probably going to be out. Mike McDaniel acknowledged he did, in fact, have a concussion. So I think everybody's anticipating that he's going to be out, and it'd be Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, for me, that's big news, of course. But Marcus Jones got a concussion, too. So
yeah.
I feel
so
like
that's
anybody up in arms about that one? No, huh?
What happened?
That's topic number 2.
I think that play that he
got
helped
the
off
wind
the field.
knocked out of him.
Yeah.
Said he got the wind knocked out of him.
That would be my
Seemed
guess.
Like he jumped on the ball. Yeah, I mean that was it, right? That was the last play he played.
Right.
No, he played after that.
Did
He
come
went back in the
in
game.
on
Absolutely.
offense?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard.
you had to play down the sideline.
I heard people say, "Oh, he just got the wind knocked out of him."
Well,
I heard
that's what
people
he
say
said
he
in
got
locker room.
the rubber pebbles in his eye.
Well, I would wondered if maybe he had, because it didn't really seem like anything happened to him, which that leads me to believe that's when the concussion happened.
Right.
Because you don't really see those.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if maybe that's when it was. A really unfortunate turn of events.
So, to me, that's part of the bigger question is who's going to cover this Miami offense? They're really thin at cornerback here. I mean, Sean Wade could be, enlisted to action this weekend. That's not ideal.
Yeah, outside. I mean, it's down to Miles Bryant, Jonathan Jones, who also, I mean, we should say
was on the
he's
report
on the
yesterday,
injury report too with the chest injury. So, Jack Jones, Jalen Mills, Marcus Jones, looks like those guys are really in doubt. But yeah, how do you match up Miles Bryant?
Yeah.
John Jones, Miles Bryant on Tyreek and Waddle.
I mean, even with Tua, I was bullish on the Patriots this weekend. thought they were going, but I'm a little worried right now because, listen, Bridgewater, he may not be quite as accurate as Tua, but his arm is just as good. He's got the NFL experience. He's won in the league. He can make the throws, just with probably a little less accuracy. So it's not like because Bridgewater's in the game that Waddle and Hill aren't a factor anymore. They're just as much a factor. So this is tough sledding for the Patriots defensively. And of course, offense, that's a whole different conversation.
Just get the ball in their hands. I mean, we saw it, with Waddle's touchdown just before halftime in week 1 where, they can take those little slants and break a tackle and they're gone.
Right.
And talking to Pellegrino, really had a lot of praise for just Mike McDaniel and the job that he does of, scheming guys open and really making things hard on defenses. And, I mean, that's not going to go away either. So I think that, they'll have to lean a little bit maybe into some of the design and scheme, but you certainly have something to attack now if the Patriots have a cornerback out.
And if you're going to predict how the game's going to go, like how it will declare itself, I think you're going to see extended drives by Miami where the Patriots have to just hold on and hope they don't give up 7. And that puts all the pressure on the Patriots offense. Every series is going to be precious because the time of possession, the way it looks like, it's going to be favoring Miami by a long shot, So you're going to have to do stuff when you have the ball.
That's a big ask, Fred. I don't know. They haven't done stuff all year.
So this is...
So I'm trying to read this because I like the Patriots in this game too. I said it on Tuesday, and I stand by that. But if Tua played, you like the Patriots.
Yes.
But now Tua's not playing, and you're really concerned about getting off the field defensively.
Because of the cornerback situation.
No, I know, but the cornerback situation was... I mean, Marcus Jones is added to the cornerback situation.
He
had a really tough game.
And as it
Cincinnati,
is, he's not playing in the right place when he was playing.
Exactly.
And now he's not even playing. So every time you take someone out of the equation, it gets even more
it chips
thin.
away your depth in the secondary.
Right.
I agree with that. I just don't know how they lost their quarterback, you lost a cornerback, and you feel less confident.
Yeah, I do. I think the corner, and maybe
maybe you think Tua stinks.
No, maybe
I don't necessarily disagree.
No, maybe earlier I hadn't really thought as much about the cornerback position as I should have, because they've been getting by, They certainly didn't get by in the first half against Cincinnati, but they figured something out in the second, plus they got a lot of help. But that cornerback situation gives you pause when you consider the weapons that Miami has.
Yeah, if they had anybody to get them the ball, I would be really, really worried.
But I think
Bridgewater can do that.
Why is that?
Because I don't think he's very good.
But he has done it in the past.
Not since pre-knee injury.
No,
has he had any success since
a little bit with the Saints.
Devastating knee injury?
He won games.
Don't make me go to my phone.
No, he won games. I mean, he didn't have a winning record.
I got it on my laptop right here, so allow me.
He's come in and spurts, played well. Now,
I think in recent times he's been dismally bad.
Dismally bad.
Like last year in Denver, I think he was terrible.
Well, I'd like to see that because I think starting the season he started okay and then he just lost it, which is typical of these types of guys. They come in. They have a game.
I'm not telling you he can't have a game.
Right.
One day, if you play bad, he can look good.
He's not leading them to the Super Bowl. I'm just talking about this Sunday. That's all I care about,
Yeah.
Early in his Minnesota career, he looked like he had some promise. I don't think he's shown any promise since.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of up and down. I mean, last year he started a bunch of games for Denver. But
what's his career record as a starter? Are you on Pro Football
42,
Reference?
35, and 0.
Yeah, so better than Ryan Fitzpatrick anyway.
Yeah, and really the 2 games this year were Minnesota and Cincinnati. He was against Cincinnati 14-23, 193 yards.
He didn't start that game though.
Yeah,
so
he's only in the start for. I mean, he threw 1 attempt against the Jets, and then I think he got hurt. Right?
He
was out.
He got knocked out of the Jets game, and Skylar Thompson had to come.
And then he came back against Minnesota, 23-34, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. I mean, he's middling. I think maybe he'll make a throw, but he'll also probably make a pick,
And you have to look at what Tyreek and Jalen Waddle will do for him, too.
Yeah.
Oh, Just throw it right there.
I
I think they need
like
to
I
run the
said,
ball, to be honest with you.
Not thinking about the cornerback early on. I said Patriots are going to win this game with Tua. I don't think not having Tua and having Bridgewater is that much of a drop off. I really don't. The way
Well, if that's the case, then I share your concerns.
Yeah.
If there's not much of a drop off.
Yeah.
I think for me the hard part was knowing what Tua you're kind of getting, because
Yeah.
I was really impressed with him early in the season and would have fully been ready to pick the Patriots to lose if he still looked like he was playing in the middle of the season. But initially coming out of that game last week, you felt, geez, he's lost it. I mean, now of course know that he had a
I'm
concussion.
discounting
so
last week because of all the interceptions because of the concussion, but they've lost 4 games in a row.
But I feel like if he played like he did in the first half last week, you'd be in trouble.
Yeah, or even against Buffalo, even in the Buffalo loss. I mean, he was they fought hard. They certainly put up more than the Patriots have.
Same
up there,
thing. I think you'd be in trouble if they played like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you just can't dismiss that, this is it for the Patriots defense. This is the formula. They get a backup quarterback. Usually this is when they go into berserker mode. And
Yeah, but
And that's why I feel better
he's not
about it.
Sam Ellinger, and I think he's better than Jacoby Brissett, Bridgewater, for sure.
I agree. I agree he's better than Brissett. I would agree with you on that.
But you're in the same neighborhood with those.
Mitch Trubisky.
Depends on the day, but
Right?
Yeah, he's probably with Trubisky.
Probably with Trubisky. He's a guy who can start, but isn't really a starter.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's no givens here. Yeah.
Well, with the Patriots
No,
offense,
David's gone. Long gone.
who's that?
No givens.
Yeah.
No givens.
It just goes back to the point I feel like we made a lot here in the last quarter of the season, which is just that as much as you can say these are things that the Patriots could take advantage of with the other team, it's hard to really believe it because they kill themselves more often than not.
Yeah, if you told me that the Patriots are going to score over 25 to 28 points, I'd say, done. We're going to win.
Me too.
But you can't guarantee that.
You get to the high 20s, you win.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
All
When's the
right,
last time they scored over 20 offensive points?
Well,
Has
In a
it
game.
happened this
offensive
season?
points, maybe Cleveland.
Minnesota, right?
Did they get those
I
offensively?
thought they had 20, right? 20 points off. I don't know. Anyway.
They got 38 against the Browns.
Yeah, but how many were the offensive
Yeah, I know.
points?
I'm just saying overall.
They had 26 against Minnesota, so they probably, that was probably
I mean, that's
23 offensive anyway.
That's the only time
They had a
broken
pick. I know
30
they had a
points this
pick
year.
3 in that game.
Right. So, I get back to time of possession and every series being precious. You have to do something when you have the ball.
Yeah, I go back to I just feel like some of these are rotating cast of characters of stop the run and but I just think a good start. It was kind of what we talked about yesterday. It's just can you maybe get a little something going, maybe have some confidence in what you're doing because as much as I just think they come out and they play bad and then it kind of snowballs on them and then they need in the second half a bounce or a mistake that
was the point I was
kinda
making
turns
yesterday.
it,
And it's always the defense that does it.
usually
That's the pattern that
or
they've
like a Marcus
established
Jones
is
special play.
fall behind and then put yourself in a situation where over the next 30 minutes, if we can do absolutely everything perfectly on all 3 phases, we have a chance to win. And that happened against Cincinnati, except for they couldn't get the last score to take the lead. I just think that's a really, really tough way. I mean, I think 99.9% of the games that you do that, you're going to lose.
And think about
You'll lose one. You'll win one once in a while.
And think
but
about
not often.
Think about all the mistakes that Cincinnati made in the second half. If the Patriots had made half those, it wouldn't even been close.
Yeah. It's like every second half now is like the 28-3 game where you just need the perfect everything to line up to get to where you need to be.
It's like even if you everything that the Bengals did wrong, if you eliminated if you just said everything that they did wrong with the exception of the guy not dropping the pass in the end zone. Right. We're not even talking about anything.
Right.
Just that one play.
Yeah.
Now, like Fred says, there was 10 plays that you could point to.
So every week we think, okay, this is the week that they're going to get it together.
So offensively,
this is the week that they're going to get it together.
I thought and you can correct me, Mike, and Alex, if you were in on some of these things yesterday too, it seemed like there was a groundswell of, sort of let it rip a little bit in the second half, Bourne making plays, Have they unlocked something? Is that? I mean, I'm not even going to argue whether or not they unlocked anything in the last game. Okay, I'll leave those kind of arguments to someone else. But do you think that might be a path that they could do this week instead of, sort of spending a quarter and a half, 2 quarters, mixing things up and trying to run and doing different things and going with the short, just let it rip and maybe. And I'm not saying let it rip down the field necessarily. I'm just saying try to get the ball in Bourne's hands and make some plays. And is that a path to offensive production?
Yes.
I think we've seen it from him in tiny little flashes all season when they actually throw it to him. And then if he doesn't drop it, it tends to be a big play.
Yeah, I mean more so in terms of the approach. But me personally, I think you'll have the same.
Do you think that there will be
the same mistakes that you've had? You'll have.
Right. Do you think that there will be any repercussions for Stevenson for the fumble?
No, I don't think they can at
He's
this
a pet.
point.
Yeah,
I think he's a
just
pet.
How do you afford to?
Yeah.
I mean, and in a certain level, I agree with it. What are they going to bench him? And
what if Harris is ready to go?
Yeah. When was the last time you saw Harris? So you're going to put the season on the line with a guy
Fresh
who
legs.
hasn't
Fresh
played in
legs.
5 weeks?
Yeah.
Fresh legs.
I think I think the bigger thing I took away, Paul, from listening to the pressers yesterday. I think we all were surprised that they're kind of still in it. It seems just like they're kind of embracing it and being Bill even saying fun. It just seems like they're flush what we've done. We have a real opportunity here for this one game to, really make a statement, to make a playoff game. And let's, kind of put all the baggage that we've been carrying with us down and just try to reset and refocus on this week. That was kind of the vibe that I got from them. I almost a little bit of the same surprise that you have of can you believe that you have your own playoff fate in your hands and you're, 7-8 right now. So we'll see. But I agree with what Paul kind of said. I'm it's great in theory. You can try anything you want, but I think ultimately the mistakes and just the mental aspect of the game that they don't have down is ultimately going to be what causes them problems. And I have no other expectations of this game other than it's going to be sloppy, kind of back and forth, and it's going to come down to the fourth quarter.
And I don't think you can play when it's 0-0 the same way you play when it's 22-0. I don't think you can have that same approach.
You shouldn't.
I mean, you can go hell bent for leather for 60 minutes if you want, but I don't think that's a really smart way to play.
No, you play to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, I know that wasn't what you were getting at, Paul, but just getting back to the Mac mistakes and then she's starting to throw picks again. That's the road that I'm scared of, because then it really starts to implode. But I just don't know how you prevent really any of it.
But I also think there's a lot of subtlety that I am not. I'm not going to tell you exactly how it manifests on the field, but. I'm sorry, but there's a difference between a way a team plays when it's up 22-0 as opposed to the first drive of the game.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So some of those plays are okay.
He made that in the World Cup.
He made an incredible throw, I thought, into a tight window to Bourne on the sideline where Bourne made that great catch, getting his feet in bounds. Does that same play happen if they're playing sort of conventionally? I don't know. Forgetting even the Hail Mary. Is that what you're going to do the next game? So let's say it's 3rd and 29 because you got a couple of penalties and it backed you up.
Sack.
You know what you're going to do? Now you're going to throw a shallow crosser to try to get 15 yards and see if maybe you can kick a field goal. Right. You're not just throwing it up blind in the end zone with 4 Bengals there and Scotty Washington. I almost forgot his name. Trying to high point it. You're not going to just throw one up for grabs if it's 10-7 in that as opposed to 22-6 or whatever it was at the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I more chances.
Yeah.
That was
right.
That was probably their best play offensively in the whole game.
Yeah.
Can you do that? I don't think you can play that way. I don't I know I read a lot of stuff today they just got to let it rip. And I'm not really worried about Mac letting it rip and throwing 3 picks. I mean, if that happens, that happens. I'm not really concerned about that. I'm just concerned. I don't think you can play that way and expect to win.
The Patriots typically, they don't do that until the game declares itself. They kind of, it's like a boxing match. They kind of feel out the other team, see what they're doing on defense.
And I think it's easy to say if they had just done that the whole game, Well, if you had just done that the whole game,
you would have got burned.
You probably would have turned it over more than once.
Yeah. Right.
You only turned it over once in the game. You probably would have turned it over more than that.
Like I made the World Cup analogy. You get those teams that are down 1-0 late or 2-0 early, and all of a sudden they turn it up and they have all these opportunities. But we also saw when they do
the counterattack.
The counterattack. Now there's two guys. It's a 2-on-1 and they score.
It's like Deuce turning back to his defense partner and say, "You got that 2-on-1?"
Right. That happened a lot.
I just pinched along the boards. I'm looking to make a play, guy.
It was like you were there watching my career, Paul.
When you open it up, you leave yourself vulnerable in football to the turnover, to the big mistake.
Yeah. That's. I'd love to see just a game that was low on penalties, low on turnovers, just low on mistakes.
Right.
Just, have a game. I mean, I'd like the.
How about have a game where the other team doesn't have the ball for like 38 minutes?
Yeah.
Get off the field.
Like that means you're actually executing on offense.
Yeah. I feel like the defense we talked about a little bit yesterday. I think like there's a lot of interesting analysis of the defense, and I feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect because I think, and we kind of touched on it a little bit yesterday of, I think they're pretty good defense, but not in some aspects. And then I see like they got a lot of sacks and third down. That's like, you look at some of the rankings and you're like, well, this isn't matching up. I think that they're a good defense. I don't think they're a top 3 defense, but a lot of their stats line up pretty well.
Their pressure has been good.
But I think that's been a constant. The third down, that I think they're like 21st. I think, and it's just interesting because they have a pretty good pass rush. They have a pretty good front.
But I think, Evan can probably correct me, but I think on third down, when it's that obvious long passing situation, I think they're afraid to just sell out, and I think they more often drop back and hope that they can cover, and they can't.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly sold out, a couple times last game, but I mean, they picked their spots for it. I think Bedard wrote something today, and he's kind of banging the number 1 corner, which I agree with. I mean, I think
to get a
so he was listening to the Deuce and Paul draft podcasts, right?
Get a number 1.
We're going back 10 months now.
Yeah, I think that they've held up as pretty well considering the injuries that they've had. But I think ultimately, over the course of the season, it just they haven't had good enough coverage on the back end. And I would, just say looking forward to next year, you're going to get a lot of this pass rush guys back. I mean, Uche's back, Judon will be back, Barmore's back, Wise is back. So you'll have those guys picking up the pace in the secondary, getting a number 1 kind of guy that can kind of slide things down a little bit.
What's more important, left tackle or number 1 corner?
I think they're of equal importance.
That between those two and a really good wide receiver.
And a wide receiver.
I think those are, and I'd throw off the ball linebacker in there too. Just a instinctual, fast guy who makes plays. And I know people are on the Juwan Bentley kind of hype train.
He's played well lately.
He has played well. I think that he's fine in conventional games.
Early on, he was getting lost in the mess. He was picking the wrong.
Chiefs.
But he's doing well now.
They've all elevated each other.
He's just not a difference-making player.
Yeah.
He is what he is.
You need that guy who sees the plays before they happen, and especially
instincts.
Are able to read through all the mesh point stuff like that the Ravens did. I mean, I just think you pop on, as everyone, you pop on the tape of the Ravens game. I mean, when I pop on the tape of the Ravens, that's when you see like they can't compete with these kind of teams, and it even is a little bit of crossover, I would say, to Mahomes, and not that those are the same, but just how much do you invest in your defense to plan for rushing quarterbacks when you might only see a couple a year, but you might see the Ravens in the playoffs, and then you're really going to hope that you have the ability to kind of morph and deal with those guys, because I just don't think they can. They seem schematically shorthanded.
To me, though, the only downside about having a defense that is geared to stopping a mobile quarterback is that maybe they're too small when you come up against a team that wants to just bash your head in. Yeah, but how many teams do that?
I was going to say I'd have no problem with that.
Right.
Bash my head in all day. When you have your 17 points at the end, I'll have a chance to win.
So speed is good no matter what. They don't have a mobile quarterback. I can still use speed to stop them.
Yeah.
It's like I'd rather do it that way than have this team that's, built to stop the run, because there's only a few teams that really rely on that,
Did you read the Bedard breakdown?
I did.
Because I thought I thought that was more in line with how I felt like the game went on Saturday, which is rare because, honest to God, and you guys know, I tease Greg all the time. I almost never see the game the same way he does. But I just thought it was interesting the way he pointed out, the amount of things that Cincinnati did to itself.
Yeah.
As opposed to,
no.
And I think he had the numbers to back it up, because sometimes I just go by, just kind of like what I feel. I have a lot of anecdotal stuff. He had the numbers to back it up when they play good quarterbacks, good passing offenses, good offense. They haven't really even been, as he called it, a speed bump.
Yeah.
They're just getting trounced.
I just think I don't think the defense is that far away from having a defense that could be part of a complementary team that wins a Super Bowl.
I don't think they are
I think
either.
that they're a few pieces away. They definitely need some pieces, but I don't think that it's. I mean, when you look at it in comparison to the offense, which just feels like we need to start over.
That's the problem.
So go back in time, right? Instead of taking Tyquan Thornton in the second round, what about one of those speedy linebackers?
Well, I mean, it looks fine in retrospect. I think you need both. I mean, I think that speed at wide receiver position is going to be another priority this year. So it's hard to say it's easy to say now, given what we've seen from Tyquan Thornton, to cancel out taking him, but I still at the time like the idea of trying to get faster and having speed.
Or you could even reach back into the first round and say, you know what, we can get a guard to do what Cole Strange has done this year.
I mean,
let's take somebody in the first round.
Take Devin Lloyd in the first round, and then have taken Pickens
or
your guy, Alec Pierce, who I didn't love, but has made some plays as an outside guy.
He's come on late.
Tall
guy.
Pickens has had a pretty good year playing with a rookie and a backup. I know he hasn't been perfect. He's kind of raw. Sky Moore, I think, is more of a niche player. Mm-hmm. But I liked him, and I like the idea of him. But he's more of a niche player. I think that would have been. They needed someone, I think, that could make plays on the outside.
What say you,
and I
Alex?
think Pickens or Pierce could have done that.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see more depth in the secondary. I had that take coming in. Jonathan Jones kind of pleasantly surprised me, but I mean, last week Miles Bryant is getting burned. Marcus Jones before the concussion getting burned. They're just, I don't know. I don't know if it's size or.
God, that has a lot to do with it.
The Cole Strange pick.
There's a reason why Marcus Jones.
The Cole Strange pick could be. Could hurt the team for a while.
We love what Marcus Jones and Jack Jones have given us. Certainly Marcus all over the place, and I think they're ahead of schedule when it comes to defensive reps.
No, great picks.
Yeah.
It's just when we're relying on them.
But we knew they weren't going to be number
like last
ones.
Week.
They were picked in the third and fourth round.
Yeah, the problem with Marcus Jones is in this particular game, I completely absolve. I mean, I know I have a crush on Marcus Jones. I completely absolve him of all responsibilities. I told you at the end of when we did the post game show, and Hardy said, "Don't steal my good," and I took someone. I was like, "Is that your good?" He goes, "No, I was going to go Marcus Jones." I go, "Oh, I didn't have him." I didn't have him on the good list, despite the fact that he completely changed the game with his pick six, because I watched the rest of the plays. And I didn't have him on the bad list either, because he completely changed the game with a pick six.
Yeah. Right.
So he falls in the middle. He made a really good play, and he got beat a lot. I completely absolve him for getting beat a lot. You're not asking a 5'8" slot guy to cover T. Higgins on the outside. They had to do. That's not because Bill's dumb.
Right.
They had to do that.
They had no choice.
That's because Jalen Mills has missed the last 3 games.
They
and
had
Jack
to.
Jones has missed
they
2.
had to do that.
Yep.
And I think Greg had the numbers that he got beat 6 times or something like that for big plays in that game. Like,
he was on both of Greg's. He was on the up and the down.
Yeah, that's why I said I almost never see the game the way Greg does, but I saw that game the way Greg did.
Yeah.
All right, 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address.
Lots if I watch film.
Lots of emails coming in.
Put on the tape, Paul.
You'd be too pretentious if you watched film. Then it would just be over for all of us.
There is one email I wanted to read. It came in last week, but I just want to read it because it makes me feel good.
No.
He says, this is from Captain Kirk, or also known as Sean. He's in Quebec. He says, I don't know if you'll get a chance to read this, but I am. I've only been listening for about 12 years.
Wow.
I found PFW in progress by accident while searching for podcasts. I was instantly hooked and have not missed an episode. I've been a huge fan of the Patriots since the early 90s. It was become a family affair as I started watching the games by myself. Then as time went on, I was joined by my girlfriend, who became my wife, and eventually my daughter. Late last spring, I was going about
the girl
life.
Eventually became his daughter?
No, the wife.
That's kind of
the girlfriend became his daughter.
Oh, okay.
Adopted.
And he had a daughter. Late last spring, as I was going about life, I found out that I had cancer. At the time, I was 48, and it took everyone, including the doctors, by surprise. It was aggressive, and it just started to spread to my lymph nodes. I had surgery to have chemotherapy. I would save the podcast to listen to during treatments, and it always helped. I try not to laugh out loud as it was kind of frowned on, but there were times I wanted to. You all really brought my spirits up as the team itself struggled, but I was just happy to still be able to watch. I've also never missed the blog, even for as long as I've been listening to the podcast, even preseason. Sent a letter to Mr. Crafts. Thank you. Also, last year, expressing my gratitude for everything, including the show. I've since completed my treatment, and although I've been left with neuropathy in my hands and feet, I'm cancer-free, and it looks like the show has cured me. So there you go. So he just wanted to let us know. So that's
well, that's a good email, Fred.
That's great.
You were right to say that. I just want to read it because it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Doctor.
So
it's not the first person we've cured of cancer.
No, but it's just good that people get enjoyment out of us even when times aren't good.
Oh yeah,
it's great to hear.
Yeah,
great to hear, and thank you for sending a little.
You
note
don't
to
hear
Mr.
that about
Kraft.
your other shows.
No, they cause it.
Right.
They don't cure
right.
it.
You drove me to the drink.
They cause the free radicals.
All right, so we'll get into some emails. We got some calls at 855-PATS-500, the Ace Ticket Hotline. So let's take some of those too. Mike's in Puerto Rico. What's up, Mike?
Hey, everybody. Happy holidays.
Thanks, Mike.
I called a couple of weeks ago about having buyer's remorse about going to the Arizona and to the Las Vegas game.
Oh, right.
Let's just say that the Las Vegas experience was one of a kind and historical in every sense of the word. But a couple of makes, open for discussion. First of all, the reason was Matt Patricia the reason that Butler didn't play in that Super Bowl, or was he part of the reason why Butler didn't play in the Super Bowl?
We don't know for sure, but it's been mentioned that
I'm aware of.
he had some type of confrontation with him, but we don't know.
Yeah.
No one knows for sure what happened.
But most probably our odds for that Super Bowl would have improved if he would have played, and I transposed that too, and open for conversation. Bourne not playing this year. Is it Matt Patricia related, and is it having the same type of effect of just not being able to put the best team out there because of X or Y reason? And then the other topic of discussion is it best for what's best for the team to squeak into the win this last two games, squeak into the playoffs, have a minor chance of winning the first game, or just losing the last two? So that way there's no excuse. There's nothing can be said as far as we just needed a little bit more time with the current system and the program that we were running.
Yeah.
It'll be better next year.
Listen, I think squeaking in and having a chance to win a game isn't going to change anything that we saw this year.
So basically fail fast.
Yeah, I listen, if we have a chance to get in, and let's get in. But that doesn't, in my mind, doesn't change anything that I've seen, and I'm sure.
Could it in Bills is the
well,
fear.
that doesn't matter. And does it change anything in Robert Kraft's mind?
I think
we can get into
I
that
think it matters
a little
if
bit
it
later.
changes it in Bill's mind.
Yeah, but we should talk about that because it's a big topic about what happens in the off season. But
yeah,
thanks,
absolutely.
Mike.
Absolutely.
I would just a quick point to make. I think I don't know for sure if this is what he was getting at, but I feel like people are now getting back into that. Well, if you just played Kendrick Bourne more, he would have had a great season. And there's just not really a corration between how much he
I thought
played.
Alex said it great. I mean, there's also been times that he just drops the ball
it.
for
Yeah.
no apparent reason, or is standing right next to Jonnu Smith when Jonnu Smith gets a concussion.
He's had some sneaky fumbles that haven't cost him.
Mike was trying to connect the dots between Patricia in both. He was involved in both the situations.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's Bill.
It's Bill Belichick.
If Bill wants Malcolm Brown to play, Malcolm Butler. I don't care what happened.
Yeah.
He would have played.
Yeah.
Right.
If he wanted Kendrick Bourne to play this year, I don't care what he did. He would be playing.
I agree.
He's the boss.
As he said, if it doesn't work, I'm the head coach.
Right.
Yeah. Blame me.
Right. He's not letting anything happen this year that he's strongly against. So he was on board with any decision that was made back then and now.
I totally agree.
Yeah. And I feel like Bourne, feeds into this thing of like just cut it loose. I mean, I think what you're kind of implying is just throw it to Kendrick Bourne a bunch. You know, like that's kind of what it.
Yeah, and I'm not suggesting that Bourne shouldn't be playing more than he is. I think he should. You know, I think there's something to be said of like you're really working to get your young guys time, but like I think Tyquan Thornton has had a lot of opportunities. He's played a lot of snaps. I think he's shown that he's not really ready for the amount of work that he's gotten. So if you really truly have the goal of maximizing this season, I think Bourne should get those snaps over Tyquan Thornton. But if you're looking at both, then I understand what they're doing.
I could see him, like, what could he have done that was so egregious that to this point in the season where they can't get anything going on offense except when he, like, occasionally makes
Well, there's no
play?
particular reason, but there are several reasons.
That's not what he said.
He said there's no particular reason.
He said no particular reason.
Right. Because there
But
are
you're
many
reading,
reasons.
You're reading into something there that's not necessarily accurate.
I know, but they're
not what we do.
He could be saying there are many reasons, not one.
And he could be saying,
I don't want to answer your question.
no particular reason.
It's
Just
how
hasn't worked out.
egregious could
Just
it have
hasn't worked
been
out.
if we're in week 17 and
Well, and I think what you're getting at, Alex, too, and what's hard is that Kendrick Bourne's so likable and has such a good
Yes.
energy about him that you feel like this is what you don't like him, Paul. But I think he has good energy for the team, and I think the team
he's been-
needs
I'm
more of
very
that kind
biased in
of
that
positive,
sense.
I think he's been a very negative
bring those
presence
energy.
in that locker room all year. I think he's been calling out the coaches and the play calling and stuff. I don't like that. I really don't. I don't think it helps.
I was born in it.
But
And if Fred's right, and it's no particular reason, it's a lot of reasons that you shouldn't be on the team. I'm not playing a guy who there's a lot of reasons for me not playing him. None of them can be football related because every time he gets on the team, he gets in the game, generally he does something. So it's all these non-football things, and those to me that's the reason you lose your job.
Well,
and he's here, so I don't think that those reasons are as numerous
Some of them,
as you
some of them
think.
could be football related in that, yeah, he's good when things break down and we're desperate and we're playing schoolyard ball and we just have to huck it up. But when we're within the guardrails and we're trying to execute the game plan, he's not running the right route.
Okay,
he's not getting the calls.
So
He's
get him
not-
off the team. Move on with somebody else.
Yeah.
Because when you don't play him, then he goes in the locker room after the
I
game
know.
and he bitches about the play calls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would say if what you're getting at is correct,
And
then
I
they
don't know
have
what
to
I'm
get rid of
saying
him
is
this
correct
year.
either. I'm
Oh,
just,
no.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I'm not saying what I'm saying is I'm telling you
But I'm saying if it is correct, then I think you do have to get rid of him.
Right.
Because it's.
I'm actually saying it's not that bad. I'm with Alex. I actually think he should be playing. But I'm making an argument for the Fred thing. There's not one reason. It's no particular thing. It's a
Yeah.
lot of reasons. Well, if there really are a lot of things that he's doing wrong, find somebody else who's not doing as many things wrong.
Yeah. No particular reason.
Yep.
And at the same time, like he'll let things slip in press conferences or the incident in the golf cart with Mike Reese earlier this season. Like, I think it's just that's Kendrick, and he has a really hard time shutting down a reporter because he's so genuinely nice that he wants to, like, I don't know. I just think he gets tongue-tied with the media sometimes. Maybe accidentally says things he doesn't
he's too
mean.
honest.
And I don't know if I really blame him or.
This just adds another layer for me of getting everybody back on the same page this offseason. And Jacoby Myers' status, Kendrick Bourne's status. We've talked a little bit about the tight end status. It's easy to see that they could make a couple moves that we could all justify right now of letting Jacoby Myers walk, getting rid of Kendrick Bourne. All those things are on the table, but it's going to set them back with Mac, I think. You're going to clean house of all of his favorite guys.
His best
I know.
friends.
And even if you bring in Bill O'Brien, it's still kind of like
I know.
Or Bill O'Brien and Derek Carr.
Oh God.
I don't think so. By the way, does Derek Carr wear eyeliner?
Yeah, we had a discussion. No, I think he's just.
I think he just has really
Dark
nice
light.
eyelashes and
Well, his bottom
really
eyelashes
beautiful
are
think
really
blue
dark.
eyes.
Like
I think
normally
he,
you don't notice someone's bottom eyelashes.
I think he leads a punk rock band.
I think
Yeah.
he has good
He
genes.
does remind me of the
He has
head
good
of Green
genes.
Day.
After the
Oh
game,
my God, kind of.
Yeah.
after
If
the
you grow out
games,
the hair a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
Just goes
He
right in
has a-
Vegas. That's why we want to go.
he has a gig.
He's got
got residency.
Rubber ring guy too, right? Like Andy.
Yes.
Oh, he's a rubber
got the
ring
rubber
guy.
ring.
Jeez.
The
Everyone's
black
a rubber
ring.
ring guy.
I know. It's
Every
such a
athlete
hardo
is a rubber
move.
ring
Not me.
guy.
Hardo.
Just take your ring off.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, what did Devontae Adams? I didn't look at it though, but it sounded like Devontae Adams had some kind of social media post.
Oh, he
of
was
some
liking
sort that he was like, did
liking
he like something?
Instagrams
Did
from
he
his
dislike
personal
it?
account, not his burner.
So you wouldn't be interested in that, huh, Fred? I hope for the show's sake.
No.
that we swing a deal.
I stay with Mac
to see how he can twist himself into a pretzel.
I would stay with Mac.
7
days a week and twice on Sunday over Derek Carr. Right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of agree, but I think this is a nail in Derek Carr's coffin. I wonder what. I mean, everybody's saying they got an out in the contract. They can right after the league.
They're going to make sure he doesn't get hurt. That's why he's not playing.
I thought it was interesting, too, people drawing the comparison to 2020 with Stidham and Cam Newton, and that this was a move that Bill never would have made. Bill didn't make the move to let's just see what we got. Let's put Stidham.
Yeah, but there was no money at stake. In order to do that, he has to be healthy. They can't cut him for with an injury. Or they can't trade him.
No,
like that.
I'm just saying for the benching.
No, but I'm saying that if Cam Newton played 2 more games and broke a leg, and then you had to give him $41 million, he'd have gotten benched.
I see what you're saying.
Like if he breaks his leg in those last 2 games, you have to pay him. No one's trading for him now, and you can't cut him. And now that contract kicks in March. That's why he's not playing these 2 games.
You learned me something, Paul. Thank you.
He's not only not playing the games, he's
he
away from the facility,
he left the
right?
team.
Yeah. So he's not a distraction. As
he
if
pulled
that's
an
not
Eric,
the
Fred.
biggest distraction ever.
He pulled an Eric. He stormed off. I told you he probably has a couple of gigs later. I like the Green Day. That works for me. Billy Joe Armstrong? Is that his name?
Yeah.
That works for me, Freddie.
Okay. I've always thought that. Yeah, that he's got that Green Day
nice
Billy
eyes.
Joe look.
Yeah.
I thought that he
also has a little Undertaker vibe to him, like
the
eyes.
Yeah.
Tom is in Torrington, Connecticut, maybe. Hey, Tom.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, I just want to start off by saying that I'm 21 years old, and so basically all I know is winning in the Tom Brady era. This period of time is not usual for me.
Yeah.
I've been going to games at least once a year until recently my dad got season tickets, and I've been disappointed pretty much every time I went, even when they squeak a win in.
Yep.
So my question to you guys, obviously you don't know the future, but what is your best educated guess as to when the next time the Patriots will be a Super Bowl contender or win the 7th?
Ooh.
Best educated guess.
I mean,
I don't think it'll be next year.
But could they be?
Yeah, it could be
you
any
could make
year.
you could make a bunch of moves.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When do you realistically think they could be?
I think 2 years from now is, to me, the most realistic, like, close date. Like, I don't think it can happen next year, but 2 years from now.
I just consider the other teams. Like, I think that they're still significant ways behind Buffalo, and until they get
Kansas
a quarterback
City,
like Josh Allen's just.
Well, that's when I said you're not going to like my answer. I don't think
until
you'll be,
I don't think
you'll be a Super Bowl contender.
Buffalo is not going to win it this year, the Super Bowl, and after that they're going to implode. It's going to be too much.
I don't think you'll ever be a Super Bowl contender as long as he's the quarterback.
Yeah, it's like it was when Tom was here. But I mean, I will say though. Just look at the parity in the league. I mean, the Patriots are 7-8, and they still could get in. So, if you just had a competent offense, I think then you would at least get to the point where, hey, maybe something will happen. Like, I'm not really there. Like, they make the playoffs, they go to
Minnesota.
Buffalo. I don't have the maybe something will happen. Yeah. But maybe if you
maybe
get a
something
little bit
that
good,
could happen for them is that they play Buffalo and Kansas City in back-to-back weeks, and they both pull Kyler Murray's.
Or it's a blizzard.
No, they won't win. Allen and Mahomes tear their ACL 3 plays in like Kyler Murray did. They're not beating both of those teams in playoff games.
No, but
I remember in the 80s when the Patriots knocked off Pittsburgh and they knocked off the Dolphins.
Do you?
Yep.
Yeah. What was that? Just out of curiosity, when was it that they knocked off Pittsburgh?
I forget, but they made a run. They
beat the Jets.
The Jets. They made a run.
Then they beat the Raiders, and then they beat the Dolphins.
All 3 teams. Heavy underdogs.
Incorrect.
On the road.
Heavy underdogs.
They were heavy underdogs against the Dolphins because they had never won in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah,
never.
They were,
but they were not heavy underdogs playing the Jets.
Were they underdogs?
I don't even know.
Oh, come on. Come on.
But they weren't heavy underdogs against the Jets.
Come on.
In a wild
I remember
game.
Will McDonough. Back then, he was the NBC insider. He was the first insider in the NFL. every week he would come and say the Patriots are going to lose, and each week he would get more and more mad because he was wrong.
Yeah, but it's also different to suggest that, an underdog.
Anything can happen.
All underdogs are the same. Like, okay, so the '85 Patriots did something that no one had ever done. They won 3 road playoff games. At the time, no one had ever done that. They were 11-5.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't like under 500 and only in playoff contention because the league expanded the playoffs. Like, there's a difference.
But in 2 years, the Patriots could be 11-5 and not quite,
Well, yes.
one of the great teams, but they could
No,
have
but
a
we're
chance.
talking about this year.
No, I said 2 years from now they could do it.
Because you said the other teams are going to implode.
Yeah.
You don't think you're going to be good enough. You think the other team's going to
Well,
have to come
I'm just
back.
talking about Buffalo. I don't think Kansas City's going to implode. I don't think the Bengals are going to implode.
So why do you think Buffalo will?
Because of red ass and because of just
What
the
is
pressure
that?
there. What?
What is that? What is red ass?
Papa Smurf.
You don't know R.A. McDermott?
I don't know. What are we talking about? Mike, can you translate? I don't know what he's
talking about. The coach. Of
the coach
of the Bills.
Because of the coach, he's not any good.
It's too much pressure.
Took over a moribund franchise that hadn't won a game in 20 years.
It's going to be too much pressure.
He's the problem.
They're trying to build a stadium. It's going to be too much, and it's all going to come crashing down.
Is Josh Allen the quarterback in this scenario, or did he like get hurt? Because
I
think that's a legit concern.
That is.
The way Josh Allen plays, he's a threat to get hurt on any given Sunday. I think that's a legit concern. I don't worry about the structure of the team imploding.
I will say one thing, though.
I don't worry about it, but it's going to happen.
I don't know what the personnel will look like next year on offense. We flirted with what the turnover is going to be, but I think they're better this year than they've shown with the talent that they have. So I do think that they could make a pretty good leap next year if they get the offense in order, if they solidify the tackle position, and maybe add some speed.
Do you think they're better this year than they were last year?
That's a good question.
No.
That's a good question.
Well, they haven't played as well, but they are as good.
Are they as talented, or are they just? I don't think
everything.
they're better. I don't think they're
everything.
No,
they should be.
They're worse.
Do you think it's about the same?
Not too far off. I mean, I think that if they eliminated stupid mistakes, it'd be about the same.
Yeah, I think it's about the same. I think they're probably not quite as talented, but I like this a lot better because they have so many more young guys that are playing active roles in what they're doing. I don't think they're all going to pan out. But there are a lot of young guys that have been big parts of what they've done, and I think if you're really going to be optimistic about the future, you're looking at the Jones boys in the secondary. You're looking at Barmore. You're looking at Duggar. You're looking at Uche, and you're saying maybe I've had 3 decent drafts now in a row, and I can go somewhere, as opposed to Kyle Van Noy and Dante Hightower plugging gaps for another year maybe, but how much longer are they going to be around? I think that's the big difference between this year and last year. And the difference in the record is just the caliber of opponents you've played, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was actually I took your question just specifically
toward
the offense.
And I agree with you guys. I agree with the way you guys answered the question, but
I like what you're saying though, and when you bring the defense into it, the young guys, and specifically Marcus Jones, I think is a big piece of it.
If they win this week and lose next week, which I think a lot of people kind of expect, and they finish 8-9 and they don't make the playoffs, I would consider this much better than 10-7 making the playoffs last year. Because of the people that were involved in getting there.
Yeah.
And Judon has really, last year we saw him fall off. This year he seems to be sustaining it and elevating everyone else in that unit.
Yeah. Let's go.
There's hope. I think there's reason for optimism.
Let's go to Deshaun in Pittsburgh. Hey, Deshaun.
Hello, guys. How you guys doing once again?
Hey, Deshaun.
I just want to say I can very much tie into it. What the past callers just said, where they were talking about like the Patriots possibly having a chance. Like I said before, like if they can start Bill Belichick being like the GM and making the decisions or whatever, and we get talent, somehow like somebody can actually evaluate talent, I think we can be very well in contention for a Super Bowl. Because even with Mac Jones, somebody like Mac Jones, I believe that we could still battle against most teams in the NFL. But I really don't think a lot of those teams are that good, per se. I just think they get by enough because they have a pretty talented team. And with Bill's smarts and coaching to go along with some talent on that team, I think we can beat anybody.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it.
Get some more talent. Yep. Absolutely. Thanks, Deshaun.
Well, I agree. If they were a lot more talented, they could probably compete with the teams that are talented.
Yep. Eldred's in North Carolina. Hey,
They
Eldred.
wouldn't have a 0 in the win column
Hey,
against
fellas.
teams with winning
Hey,
records.
lady, how y'all doing?
Hey, Eldred.
Hey, Lou.
Yeah, all right. Hey, question. Did y'all catch that Bill O'Brien press conference
I did.
Yeah.
about? Did he say? I think I didn't get to hear all of it, but I think he denied the rumor coming to New England.
He did not deny
I know
any
co-
rumors.
He denied that
He
he'd
said
been
he
in
hasn't had any
contact.
contact with anybody in New England since April. But he did not deny any rumors. He didn't say he'd be back at Alabama. He didn't say anything, really.
So he could have meant
focused
he
on
didn't
the-
have any
Okay.
contact while he was in Foxborough.
No, I don't believe. I actually believe what he said.
No particular reason.
No,
I don't think that he's had any, because I don't.
I
Fred,
think
you
all
said
of this stuff has been
You
drummed
said
up
this
by-
on Tuesday, Fred, and I agree with you 100%. I don't think Bill O'Brien's the kind of guy that wants to float his name out there for a job that's not open.
Right. He's not the kind of guy like, I've taken my name out of the running for, we've heard that
Head
before.
coach.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's
No,
Josh-
I agree. And I
That's the-
think
otherwise the Josh McDaniels.
I think both he and Bill Belichick have, honored the fact that O'Brien's got a job to do, and he's working for Alabama, and that's where his focus should be. And Bill likes Saban, and he didn't want to, and I think there was a lot to that. The respect for the etiquette.
Etiquette. Okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, but the Super Bowl talk, 3 years, and it'd be after Bill's gone.
3 years after
And
Bill
it's,
is gone.
No, he said
Yeah.
it will be after
That,
Bill's
that
gone.
gives you time to get talent, and build a squad.
Right.
Like everybody else normally does.
Right. So what if?
So that's what I'm looking
So
at.
yeah. So what if Bill stays for another 3 years? So we're talking about another rebuild.
Are you saying 3 years from when Bill leaves? Is that what it is?
3 years with Bill. We'll be about the same. When Bill leaves, 2 years after that'd be 3 years total. That's what I'm looking
So
at.
you think Bill's leaving
But-
after
but-
next year?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I know y'all said he got talent with the Jones boys and everything. I like that speed, too. But like I said, it's height-wise, too. And we saw that last weekend.
Yeah, I just said potential. I
but
didn't say anything about
the contention, tensions,
good
whatever.
it is.
But then Mac Jones, I don't know. I'm like everybody else.
Yeah.
50-50 chance to go with him, 50-50 chance to can't go with him.
Yep.
I just don't know what he is. I
Yeah.
know it was last year. He was damn good last year, but like I said, he had an official OC.
Yeah.
Somebody was in his ear,
I would
But-
feel a lot better if Bill Belichick would come out and say, "Damn it, Mac Jones is our quarterback."
Yeah.
Because then I know
Think he had
that
another-
they're going to do what they need to do to make him a
He had
good
another
quarterback.
chance to do that yesterday.
Yeah.
Not necessarily is our quarterback, but to defend his quarterback.
Right.
And
That would make me
he
feel
passed
better.
again.
It would make me
What,
the
feel
whole-
better.
like the Eli Apple stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go. You can ask them.
Well, yeah, like forget about how it would make Mac feel, obviously, but it would make me feel better if he said that, because then I know, okay, they're invested, they're going to do what it
Do you
takes
think he likes
to
him?
make this guy successful. What?
Do you think Bill likes Mac?
I have no idea.
I
No idea.
I didn't ask you. Do you know? I asked you if you thought.
I don't know.
Well, why are we
I don't
here?
think
I
so.
think he likes him, but he
I don't think
is
so.
frustrated.
I don't
Because
think
he's not
he likes
acting in line.
He's
Yeah.
frustrated.
He's not in line.
But maybe
He doesn't conform.
Yeah, I don't know. I like
He
like you
doesn't
hear all
not
these
throw
stories that
interceptions.
like you hear all these stories, and again, they're just stories. Coaches are at each other. Players are at coaches. Coaches are at players. Coaches are against coaches.
We've heard stories of coaches being at each other's throats.
Yeah, I heard it this morning on the
Really?
radio.
Oh.
Like I don't know where this stuff is coming from.
I haven't seen any of
But
that.
if it's true, where does Bill
said
fall?
that?
Where does Bill fall on this?
I'm really I'm interested
Yeah,
in
what
that.
show
I
Yes.
haven't heard anything since the people were trying to drum up Judge versus Patricia for like OC duties in the summer. But that I haven't heard any other
I haven't heard any of
coach
that.
on coach crime.
It wouldn't surprise me
Obviously.
on most teams where things aren't working out. You get that. You get that.
Oh yeah, everybody turns on each other
Yeah.
when,
Yeah.
when it's going bad. For
I
sure.
just
But,
hadn't heard any of that.
No.
I have some interesting.
One last thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off. One last thing. I hope they do keep Bourne and Myers and Hunter, because to me, that is the nucleus of your offense. If you did like you did back when we had a defense with Chandler Jones, and you got rid of the other linebacker, then you got rid of Malcolm Butler, you killed the core. And I think them guys
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the core.
Do you like the core? That's the
Yeah.
that's the thing. If you like the core, keep them.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting. I have some
Thanks, Alfred.
some numbers for Mac that because I hear a lot of they ruined him, they ruined him, they ruined him, and I want to go back Now, the last 5 games of last year, which is the bye week on, right? So that's 17 games now that he started. The last 17 games that he started. So the last 5 games last year, he threw for 5 games, 1,164 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 7 picks. Now, this year, he's thrown for 2,550 yards and 12 starts with 9 touchdowns and 8 picks. So that's 17 games. That's a season. That's a full season. He's thrown for 3,714 yards, 17 touchdowns, 14 picks, 64%. And he's 6-11.
Right.
And by the way, I didn't cherry pick the games. In other words, the Jacksonville game.
That's in there.
That's in there.
Yeah.
I said the last 5 games last year.
Yeah.
I didn't take out the good game.
Yep.
I didn't take out the good games this year,
Yep.
like Minnesota. I counted all of the last 17 games, 6-11 in the last 17 games that he started. I think this started last year. I think they figured him out last year. This isn't all about Matt Patricia. It's a lot about Matt Patricia. It's a lot about the structure of what they did and the fact that the players didn't believe in it from the start. That's a big chunk of this. I'm not denying it. Yeah. But I don't think he's played as well as people give him credit for.
Robert writes in, Fred, thank you for playing the PFW theme song yesterday, as it now has been stuck in my head for 24 hours. As for the coaching staff, I have to thank Evan for bringing up the one word that's been drummed into our heads during the dynasty years, accountability. Where is it? We have heard over and over about how everyone from Brady to the third-string guard that only played on field goal units was held accountable during film sessions. If the coaches, including Bill, aren't holding the players accountable for their poor performances, then it's up to Robert Kraft to hold Bill responsible for not holding the coaches accountable. It may be a delicate dance by Kraft, but it's his money and his name on the paychecks for everyone. P.S. Include me in the opinion that it's better to make the playoffs than not. Ask any Bills fan how they felt about the postseason absences during the Patriots dynasty. Not a good time.
Yeah. I mean, I think making the playoffs would almost be more about actually, I mean, this isn't Tua because you're not really going to get the check, hey, we finally beat Tua off the list. But, you know, if they were to win, I said yesterday, they were to beat Miami at home and then go into Buffalo and win, you know, in a straight-up game. I mean, I think those would be more to take away than whatever ends up happening in the playoff game when you feel like you're probably going to get.
I'm with you guys. I'm not a big fan of, get the higher draft pick. I understand that if you look at it after the fact, we could have slid up 5 or 6 spots in the draft. That would have helped us. I get it. I mean, it's on paper. It's right there for you to see. But I do think that you try. If you have the chance to make the playoffs, you put everything into that endeavor. You try to make the playoffs. I don't really see the other side.
I think what's hard for me is just we're at that kind of like crossing over point where we're starting to maybe some of the teams that are going to be out of it are starting to look at the drafts. You're starting to see like some mock drafts, and so you see. I think I said yesterday there are 8 or 9 teams that are at 7 and 8, like the Patriots are right now. So you know that's going to be a lot of movement, and you look right now.
So find a way to lose the 2 games, and you can get in the top 10. I get it. I just don't.
I know it's tempting. It's tempting. You look at the talent, and you see. Offensive tackles and top wide receivers, and right now
the kid
I think
from Ohio
like
State, right? The tackle from Ohio State. Everybody says is going to be a first.
Him
Paris
and
Johnson,
the USC kid, the two.
I mean, I understand it. I get it. I just don't.
I know, and at the end of the day,
you are
that's
what I want to do.
This is just I got to get this off my chest too. Like the Cole Strange pick, it's really hurting me right now. Like and at the time you kind of tried to make peace with it, but it didn't work out. He's not playing well at all. And they're kind of stuck with him. And you just need first-round talent on this team so bad. And to burn that first-round pick on a guy who probably isn't really a first-round pick, it's a real tough look right now.
Yeah, so I'm going to get ready to go real quick, Fred. So I know you like to hear how everybody did last week.
Yeah, sure.
So
this is the picks.
The picks last week, Mike and Paul, 10-6. Fred, 9-7. With a spread, no surprise. Paul, 9-7. Fred, 7-9. Followed by Mike.
Oh, bad week on the spread.
6-10. Ouch. So season standings, Mike. This is like 5 weeks in a row. I'm 152, 86-2. Mike, 151, 87-2. Followed by Fred at 143, 95-2. With the spread, Paul, 138, 98-4. Alex, that's dominance.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
She looks impressed.
I am.
Mike, 118, 118-4.
Wow.
You're
Adequate?
thoroughly
Am I-
adequate in your adequacy. Fred, 108, 128, and 4. So those are the numbers, and you guys can.
Yep.
In the
Okay.
last half hour,
Yeah.
you guys can.
So it'll be a fast whip
So,
around.
Mike, I'm going to
Yeah.
leave this with you.
Okay, I'll do it. Yeah.
Which that's a big compliment.
I appreciate it.
I
I'm
don't
gonna-
often
I'm gonna
turn
make
Mike's
over
the
the-
only one he trusts
be
here.
meticulous.
I don't often
Great.
turn over the responsibility to just anybody.
So now this week we can get all of Paul's picks wrong. So
I see how you do it. All right, I got you. And we got the lines. Okay.
You really
Okay.
could screw with me by changing my picks because I'd have no idea that you changed them. I would say, geez, I thought I
You wouldn't notice that your old picks are scribbled down.
I'm gonna do
Well,
it. I'm
no.
gonna do it in pencil.
no, we don't give that back.
You got to play the long game and you got to reprint it.
I'll be sure to leave it on your desk. I'll lock it in your lockbox.
We'll
so
practice
no one
your
will-
handwriting.
No one will
and
touch it.
just rewrite it all.
No, I couldn't read your writing, so we just decided to type it out.
You're giving us like the playbook.
Are we waiting for food,
To
Matt?
cheat.
No,
We are not waiting for
Oh,
food.
you didn't want to? Oh, that's right. You had to leave.
No,
Okay.
I got
All
to
right.
go.
So since we're breaking, I just want to remind you that Bridgestone is the official tire of the New England Patriots and is proud partner with Sullivan Tire, New England's headquarters for quality Bridgestone tires. Visit sullivantire.com to find a location near you. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more calls and emails, and then eventually picks.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G Ultra Wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G Ultra Wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no!
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith. a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment day in and day out to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible!
No way! As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC. Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G ultra wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G ultra wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no!
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment day in and day out to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible.
No way. As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
And now, great moments in history.
You know when we go to Ford Field to play the Lions?
Yeah.
And they do that pregame show?
Yeah, oh.
And there's that kid who's like in his early 30s maybe at most.
At most. Yeah.
And he's like, hey, everybody, welcome to Ford Field.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be talking about the Detroit Lions.
And now we're going to be
today."
talking about the Ford drama again. Wow.
Like, why do they do that? Why did that become a thing?
It's always been that way.
Hi, everybody. It's Beth Mullins in the Los Angeles Chargers.
But let's go to Megan O'Brien.
And it's more.
And Megan, it looks a little cold today.
That was like a mix of
I would pay you
Johnny
$100.
Announcer voice and Harry Carey.
Right.
I would pay you $100 to do the rest of the show just like that.
Well, I don't know if I could keep it up.
That's pretty
That's
hard.
what she said.
That's another great moment from
All right, we're back here in Patriots Unfiltered, 855-PATS-500. Evan's here, and guess what?
Evan has returned from practice. Evan has returned from practice. Yeah, Evan has returned from practice. What was the mood? Who wasn't there? What did he see?
All right, Evan, the floor is yours.
I love that we can see ourselves on video today,
distracting.
dancing a little
Yeah,
bit from
sure.
being back from practice.
Fans know that we're enjoying ourselves.
I like that. I don't like what I'm about to tell you about practice.
Oh, boy.
So this is turning into the Buffalo playoff game all over again for the Patriots secondary. Adrian Phillips now missing from practice as well.
No.
So no Adrian Phillips, no Damian Harris. He was there yesterday, not there today. And then all the same absences: Marcus Jones, Jalen Mills, Jack Jones, Devontae Parker, Yannick Kajust, Jonnu Smith.
Wow.
So at this point in time, just to set the stage here a little bit for Sunday, the Patriots will have Jonathan Jones, Miles Bryant, and Sean Wade starting at corner. And they will have, I guess, Duggar McCourty and Jabril Peppers at safety. Now, this is why you have a guy like Jabril, right? Is that you can mix and match there a little bit at safety. But like I said, this is starting to turn into the Buffalo playoff game all over again, where they just have DBs dropping like flies left and right. And this is not the matchup that you want to be shorthanded at corner.
No.
This is not the team.
No.
Even week one, when the secondary was healthy, it was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not good, Bob.
Not good, Bob.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, at least in week one, you had, a guy like Marcus Jones. He wasn't even playing a lot.
He
of
was still
defense
working
back
his
then.
way into.
Right.
Jack Jones played a lot in that game.
Yeah. So.
And you had Jalen Mills healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, when I was doing my game preview for this game, there is a blueprint, obviously, over the last month. Miami's lost 4 straight games. 2 has played poorly. They've dropped to 20th in EPA on offense in the last month. So that they have not been a good offense. But the number one thing that teams have been doing, it really started with the Chargers, is playing more man coverage against them and really challenging these receivers by getting into Hill and Waddle's face and not allowing them to build up that speed against off coverage. And that was the blueprint. That's the way that you go about doing it. Now, I just don't know how you play that way with Miles Bryant and Sean Wade out there.
I think it's tough too with who's going to play on the back end. I mean, I think Phillips has been playing there a little bit more than Duggar or Peppers ever did. Seems like they're more linebacker-y kind of types. Like, some deep guys that need deep help. You really only have D-Mac back there.
That's why I think it's going to be a lot of zone, and I just think that the time of possession is going to be, heavily in favor of Miami, and that means every possession you have on offense, you've got to do something. You've got to put some plays together. You've got to keep that offense, the Miami offense, on the bench, and I don't know if the Patriots offense can do that. They haven't been able to.
It's just so tough against Teddy because Teddy wants to check it down, right? He's not Tua. He's not an aggressive downfield thrower like Tua is. So he wants the short stuff. And if you just sit back in soft zone,
dink,
right? He's perfectly fine playing like that. It's when you actually make him push the football down the field that he comes up and has some limitations. So if he's they've got the McDaniel motion stuff, play action stuff, and then he's just dinking and dunking all the way down the field. They can do that all day.
How would you, Evan? Sorry, Fred.
Would you, if you were, Steve Belichick, Gerard, and whoever on defense, would you just dial up, and take chances with pressure early? Just I'm not talking about selling out and blitzing, but just dial things up to just get in Bridgewater's face,
get him
early.
rattled early.
Get aggressive. Yeah.
I would love to see them do that. They did not do that last week against Burrow. And I think what we've seen against these elite quarterbacks is they have played a lot of soft zone against Burrow, against Josh Allen, against the Vikings a little bit. And I think that in a lot of ways, this is defense in 2022, where when you play these top 5 elite offenses like the Bengals, like the Bills, you're, for 90% of the game, surviving.
Right.
You're just trying to tread water against them and not give up it all up in one play. And then you start to mix in some of your schemed stuff like the zero blitz they called against Cincinnati that resulted in the pick 6. And that's when you pick your spots with it, right? The days of just lining up across from a team in man coverage for 4 quarters and challenging them every single down, that's just over. You just can't do that as much anymore. So that's why everybody is playing the same kind of bend, don't break defense. It's not just the Patriots. This is league-wide.
That's why I just want to make.
But would you take more chances on defense?
Yeah, I would. I was screaming for it against Cincinnati because they kept on backing off. And
I can understand against Burrow, but
yeah.
with Bridgewater, I think you might be able to get away with it.
Yeah. I think early on, if you can try to get him out of rhythm, it's not a bad idea. I just was really hoping that Marcus Jones was going to be ready to go for this game because with him and John Jones against Waddle and Hill, I thought the defense could really control the game for the Patriots. I thought they had the matchups on defense to be able to do that. And when you play the soft zone stuff, your pass rush can't get home in time because they're just getting the ball out quickly because there's all this space underneath the defense, and it just throws everything off. And I'm with Fred. I think first quarter, first drive, I would love to see them just challenge them anyways. I know you might get burned, but that's sort of been the blueprint against Miami anyways, is that, okay, you give up an 84-yard touchdown to Jalen Waddle, you give up a bomb to Tyreek Hill, but the rest of the game, you do a pretty good job on them, and you live with the fact that you're going to give up 2 or 3 big plays.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the phones. Todd is in Canada. What's up, Todd?
Hey, guys. I've noticed a lot of this year we've said, I wish Bill would do this, and I wish Bill would do that. And then I've also heard, I wish they would do this on offense, and I wish they would do this on defense. And I got into a little bit of argument with Evan last time, or 2 times ago, about just how good our defense was and our defensive play calling. I think we got exposed in the Bengals. I think if the Bengals hadn't turned into the Bungles in the second half, it would have been like a 40-something to 3 rout. And I'm just not sure, if this philosophy can continue the way the team works from the top all the way down. I think there's just a lot of problems. I think the coaching doesn't seem to be functional on either side of the ball. The GM doesn't seem to be functional. Like, you guys are really regretting Cole Strange pick. Me too. Right? I just something is wrong right now. We haven't had like a solid core. We haven't had a team that we can say, okay, we got this, we can build on this.
Yeah.
For 5-6 years now.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think that there needs to be a change in coaching / front office?
I think philosophy needs to change, and I don't know if Bill can keep up with the current game. I don't think Bill's mentality allows him to go away from people like Bentley, even though he played a great game. Bentley's he's a plotter. He's a big, thick plotter. I'm going to plug the hole. I'm going to, Bill's philosophy, I'm going to stop the run and then take their 2 or 3 biggest players off the game if I can and shut them down and then see what they can do. There's there seems to be an out of touch with their approach to football right now.
So,
And it's
so
not
Todd,
just 1 or
I'm
2
going to push
years.
back on you again. I'm going to do it on defense, all right?
I don't mind.
I tried not to, okay? But name me. I know you watch the league, so name me a defense in the NFL nowadays that plays the way that you want them to play. That's aggressive all the time, that gets up in everybody's face, that really tries to dictate the terms of the game on defense.
Well, I look at our team, and I still
What about
see us doing
Dallas?
a lot of we'll let them take what we can give, we'll let them get their stuff and move their ball down there. We're going to try to not break. And
Welcome to
I don't think that we have
defense
the
in
people for that.
2022. Every
don't
single
have the-
every single defense in the league is doing the same thing. They're playing too high shell. They're playing less man coverage. They're playing soft zone. The Patriots and the Dolphins are two of the most man coverage heavy teams in the league at around 40%. That means 60% of the time they're playing zone. Right?
And where are all of our quarterback pressures and sacks that we're supposed to be getting?
Well, they are getting
against
some.
against decent teams, but they're not. Like, come on, last game it was just the Bengals being the Bengals more than anything.
Well, that
and
one
in the previous games as well. Judon seems to take times out every once in a while, or get really stupid and take a stupid penalty. He's done that several times. I just, what happened?
Oh, it's hard.
Other than
You're
our
forgetting that,
number 55.
but you're just leaving out like Bentley had a pass defense in the end zone, so that doesn't really support what you're saying. Matthew Judon forced a fumble at a critical time.
Matthew Judon played a great game.
They're making
last
plays.
week.
Like,
pressure caused a pick six.
I can be with you on the offensive side of the ball. I'm with Evan, and I think this is the point that is coming out now is that you have to be realistic about how you can play defense in the NFL right now and what you have to do. Like, I don't think that the Patriots are the 85 Bears. I don't think the 85 Bears exist anymore.
No.
Like, you have a couple defenses that are super talented.
Imagine how a competent offense would complement.
And that's
the
exactly.
defense.
And so that's the thing. Like, put an offense that you have some belief in, that you say, geez, if we do give up a drive, we know that our offense is going to put up at least 14 to 21 points in this game. Like, I think it's hard to look at this defense
Thanks, Todd.
in a bubble and just, without saying, like, they haven't really gotten any help this year. A lot of times when they played really well or given the opportunity to the offense to win the game, they can't do it, and I think that they've continued to fight. I don't think they're perfect. I think that there's still a couple real pieces away that they definitely need to, really be good, but give them a competent offense, and I think that this defense is fine. And, I understand that everything gets kind of skewed because you look at like Josh Allen and they didn't punt last year, and all those things kind of build up. But I just be realistic right now about what defense is in the NFL right now. I think that's what we've come to this year. It's hard to play perfect.
It's
defense
frustrating
all the
to
time.
watch.
Yeah.
It stinks, but every single team in the league is doing the same thing. And this is just it's turned into similar to what it is in the college game now, where it's survival on defense. It's survival. And I hate it. Everybody hates it. And every single time I watch film on a defense, it's the same thing. They play the same coverages. They play the same style. This Miami defense tries to come after you a little bit more than the average defense, and they're getting burned. They're 27th in the league in DVOA on defense against the pass because they're blitzing and they're playing man coverage, and they're trying to do what the Patriots might have done back in like 2018 or when they really had great secondaries. Can't do it anymore.
See, that's just like the thing, Evan. I was thinking a lot about this morning. I kind of brought it up. I mean, you mentioned DVOA. So the Patriots defense is third in the league in DVOA, third against the pass, 10th against rush. You want to go to more conventional stats. They're fifth in points, eighth in yards, third in turnovers. It gets a little bit dicey with some of the other passing stats. I would say the third down one I highlighted earlier, where they're 21st in the league, is a significant one, 15th in red zone. But I mean, all those stats aren't like completely wrong. Like, this is how they stack up. And as much as you can say, well, but everything good that happens to the Patriots defense is on the other team for screwing up. And we never give them any credit. Always, and there's, look, there is some truth to some of that. I mean, Sam Ehlinger, Fred mentioned him, but they're still a pretty good defense. And all things considered, with the injuries that they've had in the secondary, I think you have something to build off of there. I feel, better. I don't think we're going to have the same kind of thing this year where we feel more concerned about the defense. We'll see how the coaching staff departures potentially affect that. But I think that they have a pretty good base there. I'd love to see them with a competent, complementary offense to see how good they
Adam
actually
in
are.
Dublin writes in, so we could argue that the Vikings, Raiders, and Bengals games should have been wins, and we would be sitting at 10-5. But what would that prove? The offense has been doomed since Bill's decision not to fill a specialist role with a specialist candidate for the OC position. Bill is still an excellent coach in my eyes, but his succession planning to deal with the brain drain, and more specifically Josh, has compromised this season. Imagine if the 2011, 14, and 16 teams had this defense. It's hard to get the balance of a team to swing your way every year, but this offense is playing below the sum of its parts, and Mac would become a lost cause. Bill took an unnecessary risk. This is not 4th and 2. It's the risk of a season in a starting quarterback. I wouldn't have any other coach, but Bill, the CEO, needs to make better choices. All right.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that.
I mean, we get back to the whole Robert Kraft thing and what's the discussion look like in the offseason. And a lot of it is, we don't know what Bill's contract looks like. But if in it says that, you can't coach for another team if you quit, then Kraft has all the leverage. Mm-hmm. Then he can go in and ask Bill, what are you going to do? And if he doesn't like what he hears, then he can make demands, knowing either Bill does what I want, or he's gone, or I'm going to tell him to do it, And then if he quits, well, okay, but you can't coach anywhere else. But if he can quit and go to another team, then Kraft doesn't have a lot of leverage, So then that's the balance there is how much can Robert put his foot down and force him to do something versus Bill saying, screw you, I'm going to go coach somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think we'll know the big piece is pretty quick. I mean, as far as Evan and I have talked about wanting the coaching staff to get squared away, that's something that can get squared away before the Super Bowl even happens. You can start to make moves already.
Well, you have to. I was listening to Albert Breer today. He was on with one of the shows, and he was saying, and he knows, this type of work is being done now if it hasn't already been completed. There's already coaching staffs in the works and people getting jobs and behind the scenes. If you wait till after the Super Bowl, you're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
You've got like Bill O'Brien. I know they've got one more game. They're playing in the Sugar Bowl, I think, but the moment that's over, like the word has to be out to his agent already if you're going to bring him here. You can't wait. He's going to have other options.
For sure.
You can't wait.
The second part for me then is what does free agency look like? What are the marching orders in free agent? Does he have? And I know that they don't have like the all the space and money to work with that they had 2 years ago, but they have a little bit. Do they focus in-house? Do they try to extend a Kyle Duggar? Do they try to take care of that business first, or is it a similar situation as 2 years ago where you feel like, all right, you got to go out and get the players. Go get the players. I believe what you need. Is he going to get the same kind of latitude in this free agency class based on how the last free agency class worked out, which there were hits and there were misses?
But isn't it better for your free agent class? Because that happens in March, right? We know that there's stuff that happens before, but you start signing guys as soon as March comes around. Yep. Isn't it better to do that if your coaching staff is already set?
Oh yeah.
As a free agent, I know who my coach is going to be. Don't you want to get that set before you start building your players?
I want to get that stuff while we still have access to hear from these guys.
Yeah.
While there's still, it isn't they just disappear into the off-season, darkness and, hey, we'll see you at a random press availability in April. I'd love to I want to hear the breakdown of it. I think Evan said yesterday, I don't want to get, well, the season just ended yesterday. We don't really know what we're going to do. Nobody wants to hear that right now. People want to hear when the season ends. We've had a long time building and knowing how it was not how it was gonna end, but what it's looked like this season. I as a fan, I want to hear how are we going to improve an offense that was near the bottom of the league in all important categories. Period. That's it. Answer that question. And if it's we're just going to try. I think everybody's on the same page as far as Patriots Nation, Bill, all this. If he comes to us and says, hey, it's got to be better. This is what we're going to do on offense. We're going to make these changes. I think everybody will be fine.
He's going to do something right after the end of the season. I don't expect all the answers to be given then, but at least we're going to get back to you. We're in discussion.
It wasn't good enough this year.
It wasn't good enough. We can guarantee you that we agree it wasn't good enough, and we'll have some news soon. That's all. No. That's all I need to hear.
You're gonna have to. The actions are gonna have to speak louder than the words on this one because we're not getting that. But I'll say it again. I said it yesterday. I understand that there's the unknown is scary, right? Like the unknown of like, okay, this could go any direction. It could go back to Bill could convince himself that, I hear this a lot, that Bill could convince himself that Matt Patricia's learning, right? And he's going to learn on the job, and year 2, just like a player, year 2 is going to be better than year 1 and all that. But from everything that I've pieced together about this situation, Bill knows it's as bad as we all do, right? Like he's not an idiot. Yeah, like he knows that the offense has been terrible, and I just can't imagine knowing that he is aware of what's going on offensively, that his answer to everybody is going to be, we're just going to run it back. Like it just, that doesn't add up to me, and I don't think we're going to get to that point. I don't think they're going to just run it back. I really don't.
Let's see. A couple more calls. Let's go to Sam in Maryland. What's up, Sam? Sam.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey.
Sam.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
All right.
First-time caller.
Nice.
Had to make a statement. I am from Maryland, but I didn't want to get yelled at by that emailer. I'm originally from Hyannis.
Cool story, Hassel. You're originally from Hyannis, you said?
Uh-oh. Cape
Yeah.
Cod.
Okay.
Question for you guys. A guy that stated that he's interested in coaching, I mean, it's kind of a long shot because he's not in the Belichick tree, but what about Dan Orlovsky for quarterback coach?
I think he's been a little bit too loud on Twitter. Everybody's gonna be mad at him. I don't know. I mean, I think he's good on TV, but I kind of like bristle at when guys on TV are kind of like actively lobbying to get back into football jobs. Like, I don't know. I don't need Dan Orlovsky here.
When does that work? Somebody from TV coming and being
offense.
a good coach. Like it goes the other way. You go
I
coach
think
and
the
then you go on
only
TV.
example that I can really think of isn't even in this sport. So it's Steve Kerr in basketball.
Yeah.
Steve
OC.
Kerr went from TNT to
Yeah.
GM to coach, and
But-
he had a good run.
But like
obviously.
to be a coach in really any of these leagues, it's got to be in your blood. Like you have to because you have to go through so much stuff to get where you want to be in coaching. Although nowadays you can be in TV and then become a head coach for the Colts, but you
There
know
you go.
for the most
That's a good
part,
example.
like to put up with the hours and all that, you have to really love coaching. You know, and you wonder like if you quit playing and went into TV first and not coaching, do you really love coaching?
Oh,
you know, or now it's
my
like
God.
I talk about
Yeah.
it so much, I could do that.
It's just not
and
a
then you
football
realize
guy
how
move.
hard it really is, and it never
Right.
works.
I think that's the biggest thing to me is
Yeah.
like it's very easy for people like Dan Orlovsky or even people like me to watch the film and be like, this is what's wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Now go try coaching that to 20 guys, getting them to execute it the way that you want them
Right.
to execute it, draw it up correctly, like all those types of things. Like that's the difference between an analyst and somebody that actually
Right.
does it for a living.
And oh, by the way, what about the analyst works probably half the hours and double the pay
Right.
of what a coach has to do too?
Right.
You know, I'm like, why would anyone want to go from
Right.
ESPN inside the or NFL Live, which I mean is a really great show.
That's why I asked. You know, like it's I'm sure there's an example, but for the most part, if you start out in TV, it's a lot harder to go to coaching than the other way around.
So
Because
Troy,
you realize
Troy and
this
Gerard were
isn't
on
easy.
NBC Sports Boston
Yeah.
for a minute,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, this
And-
isn't easy. It's hard.
Yeah.
yeah.
And inherently, the ego of someone that does go to TV first, I don't think is going to be suited for someone to
Sure.
be a
Right.
football
Right,
coach.
you're
have
gonna
to-
be a
It's
coaching
different.
assistant.
Yeah, you have to take your ego and stuff it in your pocket.
And I mean, not to mention, like, Dan Orlovsky can go on there and say whatever he wants. Like, here, you're a coach. You got to get guys to perform. I mean, it's not only,
That's
like,
the
as Evan
biggest
said,
thing.
coaching, like, they have to play well. Like, you have to and the proof is out there. And it's not just like, hey, I can put together a 30-second Twitter video ripping them. And it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, it's not going to, like,
right.
ever affect
Like,
them.
I can sit here and say, like, let's run more RPOs. And then I can go out there and practice and be like, guys, like, we're gonna take this from Alabama and we're going to run this RPO. And they're going to come up to me and be like, but coach, what happens if this happens? And I'm just going to be like, just run the play. Like,
And then someone
like,
else is going to be
I don't
making
know.
the 30-second
Go-
video
right,
clip about
right,
you.
right.
How do you
so
handle that?
that's the biggest difference. Is it's very easy to identify
Right.
problems. It's very easy to say what I want to do, but can you go out there and actually
Yeah.
get people to execute
Right.
it? In
But
real
that's
life?
part of like the experience though too is as you were a young coach you would start to see, well, this is what happens when they run this look in front of what we want to try, and you start to get that experience, but it takes a while and you
But
have to put your dues and
But I
and
often
get that
I often talk
experience.
about what Parcells used to say when he was here, and one of the things he said is when coaching is teaching.
Yeah.
If you're not a good teacher, you're not going to be a good coach.
Yeah.
You know, So nowadays, if you can coach, you coach. If you can't coach, you go to TV. And if you can't go to TV, you do one of those gambling sites. That's today's. That's how it works today. Thanks, Sam. Or do you have anything else to say?
All good. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Sam. We'll see you at Hyannis.
David's in Fort Myers. How's the weather down there, Dave?
Oh, it's great. Thank you very much for asking. But, yeah, I love the show, guys. Just had a question. We've had about 3 to 4 seasons of mediocrity, from the Patriots. And, that added along with Belichick's, misfires in the draft and this huge fiasco with Matt Patricia as, defensive coordinator going now to be an offensive coordinator. How many more seasons do you think Kraft will put up with, this output from the team before they say, maybe try to go in a different direction, maybe get like an offensive-minded coach? I'm a huge Belichick fan, but it just hasn't been good. We used to be the well-coached Patriots, and it just seems like the things that we once were staples of our team are no longer, like the good coaching. We used to be able to get away with less than elite talent because of our coaching, but that just is no longer the case.
Yeah,
how much of a leash do you think Belichick has with Kraft?
I think assuming that off-season conversation goes well, one more season.
Gotcha.
And then that's it.
To see some progress. Like, I don't think you have to win a Super Bowl next season for him to keep his job.
But I think you
have to see that, okay, we're going in the right direction.
We're
going in the right direction.
I think
Thanks, David.
Go back to my earlier point of, just get to that point where, are you, we don't have Josh Allen. We don't have Patrick Mahomes. But at least in an any given Sunday situation, you feel like they might be able to take a game from anybody.
That's the thing with Pete Carroll. He was here for 3 years. And he started out making the playoffs, and they were just going in the wrong direction. It was only a 3-year stint, but Robert Kraft just, the quote, he failed fast. Mm-hmm. He's like, okay, this is not going in the right direction, and he cut bait. Sometimes you have to do that if you're not going in the right direction. But like you said, if it's going in the right direction after this year, then Bill stays.
Yeah, I think it's a hard thing too to put yourself in an owner's shoes and all the different things that you have to take into account as an owner of a franchise. It's, yes, it's certainly winning, but not everybody's going to win the Super Bowl every year. I knew it would be hard post Brady, post Belichick. Everybody's just been kind of waiting to for the Patriots to stink so you can gang up on them and be like, finally get back at those guys. You just knew a lot of vitriol out there waiting for the Patriots downslide. But you want to have local energy. You want to have, getting people out to the games and that, having that kind of, even though they're not a Super Bowl team, they, have a good energy about them right now. And it's hard to see that right now. It just seems like they're kind of teetering a little bit on the edge of going one way or the other. And I think it's a really hard thing to manage as an owner.
All right. We got a few more calls, but we'll hold on if you want to hang up maybe and call back for Catch 22. Which is following us immediately at 2 o'clock, and they'll be on YouTube video as well. So you want to hang on for that. So if you want to hang on the phone, you can do that, or hang up and call back at 2 o'clock. But right now, it's that time of the week.
You can't say Paul.
I can't say Paul. How did it go last week?
No Paul.
We did. Yeah.
This is his Super Bowl every week.
I know.
We're gonna screw with
he
all
left
his picks now.
He left his picks. So he's still winning. If people didn't catch earlier in the show, when
for now,
yeah,
we'll
you're only one game behind, right? In the overall,
right? That's crazy.
This is the week.
You caught up.
But he's killing us in the where it counts.
I know. Well, he picked the perfect week to get away because now if I do pass him this week, he's gonna think that some kind of shenanigans went on. Like, the 1 week I'm not there. Deuce
he
finally
was
passed
straight up
me.
giving us the ways that we could cheat without him knowing.
Well, I think something's up every week.
Show us the ways.
People tell me that's not what you picked, Fred. But anyway, okay. We start with tonight. 8:15 on Prime. The 11-4 Cowboys are at the 7-8 Titans, and I don't think Derrick Henry is playing.
And it's Josh Dobbs at quarterback for the Titans.
Okay.
Yikes. Tennessee plus 12.5, and I guess I get to go first. I don't know what Josh Dobbs is. I don't know who that is.
What's a Dobbs?
So I'm gonna take Dallas, and I'm gonna lay the points.
Yeah, that's a big spread, but I'm going to go Dallas both ways.
Dallas does weirdly fall into these traps against these bad teams, though,
sure
I will
do.
say.
Yep.
But you can't start a guy off the practice squad 8 days later and beat a team that's good like the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
So I'm taking the Cowboys, and I'll take them to cover as
It
well.
seems like a big spread, but you can win the game like 20-10 or like 20-7 and beat the spread, you know?
Yeah.
So you don't really have to like score a lot of points to actually beat that spread.
Paul did take the points with Tennessee.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Is this before he knew that Josh Dobbs was to be the quarterback?
Yeah, maybe. But
Okay.
Hey, you're going to cut out early.
All right.
You're lost.
We'll, even if we'll say that he did anyway. All right.
You got both Dallas both ways?
Yeah, I got Dallas both ways. Sunday at 1, the 4-11 Cardinals are at the 5-10 Falcons. This game's for the birds.
Literally and figuratively.
We got the Falcons -3. Paul took San Francisco both ways. Wait, what?
What are you
Sorry,
doing?
Atlanta. Sorry, it didn't match up.
Come on.
What is he? He's got very bad lines. Atlanta both ways for Paul. And you know what? That's what the Deuce is going to do too. I'll take Atlanta both ways.
Yeah, Atlanta. Both ways.
Okay.
I'm confident about that.
No.
Desmond Ridder for the Falcons.
Yeah.
I like me some Ridder. I'm gonna take the Falcons both ways as well. And my runner-up, if it's not Bill O'Brien, Cliff Kingsbury gets fired by the Cardinals. Would love that.
I think he'd
bring
love
him
it
here.
too.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Love it.
I'm going to go with the Falcons both ways. They're home. So Sunday at 1, the 3-12 Bears are at the 7-8 Lions. They had a tough loss last
Bears. This is Detroit by 6 after a tough loss last week. Paul went Detroit both ways. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do too. Detroit, I'll lay the points.
Lions to win, Lions against the spread.
I like the Lions to win because I think they will play hard for Dan Campbell, even though I think this game is meaningless for them. But I like the Bears to cover. I think divisional game, it'll be close.
Evan is correct. That's the call. Take the Lions, but take the points. Sunday at 1, the 7-8 surging Jaguars are at the 2-12-1 Texans.
Jacksonville by 4.5. And
what do the Sharps know here?
4.5.
So now they got to win this one, right? Like to set up next week to be kind of for the division. Is that what we're?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're both 7-8, right? So if the
Yeah.
Titans lose to the Cowboys, then
Right,
not
right.
necessarily.
So it seems like it's heading that direction. I'm gonna take Jacksonville, but I'm gonna take. Yeah, I'm gonna take the points with Houston though. I think it'll be close.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, the Sharps.
They've
I
been
would
playing
think
tough.
that spread would be a little bit more. That's why I think the Sharps know something here.
I'm going to give it all to the Jaguars.
Jax. Trevor.
This is a good game for the Jaguars to learn what they're really about, because this is a trap game,
Division.
right? A division
Team that
game
knows ya.
Yeah.
against a team that's playing for nothing. If they're the Jaguars of old, they somehow find a way to lose this game,
Right.
but I don't think they are.
How professional are we?
I take the Jaguars. I take them to cover. I think they win that division as well.
Yep, I'm riding with Trevor Lawrence. Jaguars both ways. I'm happy for him. You know, I hate wasted talent.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that he's starting to roll.
I just think it's good for the league.
Yeah,
you need
it's good for the
quarterbacks.
league.
You need good
Yep.
quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
Not in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I don't, but
Get him out of
I'm just thinking of the person.
Not to the Jets, though. 'cause
He doesn't have to stay
and they'll be actually good.
Sunday at 1, the 4-11 Broncos are at the 12-3 Chiefs. 2 games in a row on the road for Broncos. That's
weird.
That's really weird.
Outside of there, and I don't think it's going to help them, Fred. This is Kansas City by 12.5, I might add, and I think that I'm going to lay every single one of those 12.5 points. KC for me.
Chiefs.
Chiefs as well. The Broncos, their interim head coach is like their Ernie Adams, because they went through like 3 assistant coaches and all of them said they didn't want the job. So that's an absolute mess. So in Denver.
Yeah, I was surprised because AFC West is pretty competitive, or it has been but Mahomes has never lost to the Broncos. Is that right? Or
sounds right.
Something like that.
And they haven't been very good since he
No,
got there.
but
so.
They have like backups fighting.
But they have
with
these
the
weird
linemen.
competitive games in the
Brett
AFC
Rippin
West.
versus Patrick Mahomes.
I was just a little surprised. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs both ways. They I know they're 12-3, but their offense has to kind of get a little bit more consistent. They have these lulls during games where, they're just not doing much. So they have to get ready for the playoffs. So I think they're going to play hard. 8-7 Dolphins. This is at 1 o'clock. Oh, I have to skip over. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah, what am I doing? 1 o'clock.
I don't know
the
where
4-10-1 Colts are at the 8-6-1 Giants.
That is the G-men -6. And God, what's going on in Indy now? I don't. Carson Wentz is coming back. I don't know.
In Indy?
Yeah, I know.
No, he's coming back in the Commanders.
Is it? Oh, sorry. Jeez, I lost my mind right there, didn't I?
That would be a neat trick.
Sorry, I messed up my Carson Wentz history.
Yeah.
Not that it really matters. I'm gonna go the frightened Brian Daboll's -6. I'll take the Giants both ways.
Me too.
I take the Giants both ways as well. The Colts are tanking.
Yeah.
There's starting Nick Foles in that game over Matt Ryan is a full-on tank job. So I think they keep tanking.
Yeah, I think the Giants both ways as well. Sunday at 1, 6-9 Saints are at the 13-2 Eagles.
That's the Eagles by 5.5.
Is Hurts back?
They were
I
playing
think
coy
I
earlier
think he's
this
out
week
of
a little
practice.
bit. Yeah.
Just saw that update. Spotted.
Nick Sirianni's
what's the number
playing
again?
it close to the vest. 5.5 Philadelphia. Paul went Philadelphia both ways. I'm going to go Philadelphia, but you know what? I'm going to take those points. I just think it's going to be a weird close game.
Yeah, I like Mike's strategy here.
Fino, yeah.
I like Philly both ways.
So what is Philly wrapped up?
They've won their division.
They've won the division. Do they have? So
They
Cowboys have 4 losses. They have 2. Who else? What's San Francisco?
They've actually. I think they've only clinched a playoff berth technically.
Yeah, because San Francisco has 4 losses too. So there's 2 games. So that's not sold yet.
Hurry.
So they still have to play. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So ATL. Sorry, Giants all around. Yeah, Philly. I'm a mess. I'm
Philly,
not
Philly minus
You're running the
5.5.
ship over there, and he's falling apart.
Everyone can tell Paul what a great job I did. I'd appreciate
Philly,
it.
did you already pick, Alex? Did you pick?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go Eagles both ways.
We're lost without Paul.
Eagles both ways. Sunday at 1, 6-9 Panthers are at the 7-8 Buccaneers.
That would be, where's TV? There it is. Tampa Bay -3. And Paul went Carolina both ways.
Yeah, those Panthers are playing well.
Running the ball, huh? I don't think I'm going to do that, though. I'm going to go Tampa Bay both ways.
I think I'm going to go Tampa Bay to win, but I am not going to give them the points.
I like Tampa Bay as well because the one thing that the Bucs defense does really well is stop the run. I don't think Carolina's going to be able to run on them. So I'll take the Bucs both ways.
I'll take the Bucs, but I'll take the 3 points. Because Brady wins, but he doesn't win by a lot. Like 19-16 and games like that. So I'll take the Bucs, but I will take the 3 points. Sunday at 1, 6-9 Browns are at the 7-1 Commanders. Now you can talk about.
I can talk about Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
What the hell are they doing? Washington -2. I'm gonna take Cleveland. Shoot, Paul took Cleveland both ways. I'm gonna take Cleveland both ways though too. I think Carson Wentz is gonna do him in.
Yeah, Cleveland both ways. The Commanders are falling off there.
I don't know what the Commanders are doing with this Carson Wentz thing. It makes zero sense. I know Taylor Heineke hasn't been playing lights out by any means, but this is ridiculous. I like the Browns both ways, too. I think that Deshaun Watson, unfortunately, is going to have a good game at some point and look like the old Deshaun Watson.
I like your disclaimer.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where you have to have a feel for the league, which I haven't had this year, but my feelings say that the Commanders win this game.
Wow.
Wentz comes in and, every dog has his day. And he's going to play all right, and the Commanders are going to win this game. Now we move to the late slate. 4:05, 11-4 49ers are at the 6-9 Raiders.
Jarrett Stidham, he's getting 10 points.
Jarrett Stidham.
San Francisco by 10.
So 2 ex-Patriot quarterbacks, right? Oh, is
no,
Garoppolo?
it'll be Purdy.
Garoppolo's not playing?
It'll be Purdy.
Oh, it'll be Purdy? Okay.
Still got a Purdy mouth.
All right.
Is that from the Deliverance?
Yeah, you got a
Purdy mouth.
Got a Purdy mouth.
Squeal like a pig.
Paul went San Francisco both ways. I'm going to take San Francisco to win, but I'm going to take Stiddy? No, I can't do it. SF both ways.
What's the spread again?
10. That's a lot of points.
Niners. But no.
Yeah.
Niners.
I'm not just saying this because I kind of want Josh McDaniels to come back here, but benching Derek Carr might have lost the locker room. It might have, because not only are you alienating your starting quarterback, but now you're also alienating your best player in Devontae Adams. I think the 49ers roll in this game.
Yeah, I am too. 49ers. What if Stidham has a great game?
I don't want the next 2 weeks.
Right. I mean, like, I don't
want to deal with that here.
I don't care about Vegas. I'm talking about here. What does that do to us?
Exactly.
We should have kept Stidham.
I don't want to read the clips on Monday morning if that happens.
Oh, you'll hear it. You'll hear it.
Ben
I'm going to
Volen
take
special.
49ers both ways. 4:05. The 7-8 Jets are at the 7-8 Seahawks.
Jets -2.
And who's quarterbacking there? Is it
Mike
White?
White.
Mike White. He's back.
Mike White. I'm gonna go. I got a good vibe. I'm thinking. Usually I don't pick against the Seahawks at home, but I'm gonna go with those Jets. I don't know. Mike White. Maybe they got something going.
Seahawks. Both ways.
Oof.
So this is
let Geno cook.
This is do or die basically for both teams, but especially for the Jets. If they lose, they're out of the playoffs. So I like Seattle. I do. I think the road thing is a factor. I think that crowd, that crowd wants a playoff game regardless. They're not like here. They're not. Let's get the pick right now. They want the playoffs.
Best place to watch a game.
I hate doing it, but I'm going to go with the Jets. I think the D is for real, and they'll score just enough with Mike White.
Paul was on the Jets both ways.
Oh, okay. All right, 425. The 12-3. I forgot about them in the NFC
ridiculous
scenario. The 12-3 Vikings are at the 7-8 Packers.
Packers -3.
Packers are favored?
Yeah.
Packers are rolling.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm gonna go with them. I'm not a huge believer in Minnesota, and I think Green Bay this time of year, the way they're playing, I think they can pull it out.
This is something. The Sharps know something here. Yeah.
They're betting with Ray.
What's the spread again?
Aaron.
3. But the Packers are favored. A 7-8 team favored over a 12-3 team.
That's the frozen tundra.
Packers to
Is
win.
it going to be? What's the weather out there?
It's just about January. Probably should be.
The Vikings are now an indoor team, which is weird.
Doesn't
even
compute. Wait, were they an outdoor team?
Yeah, when were they an outdoor team?
Oh, that's right. They always played in that Metrodome.
Yeah, the Metrodome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going way back with Bud Grant, even before that, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know who that is.
Packers win.
You
Vikings
don't know who
cover.
Bud Grant is?
I'm just messing with you.
What do you got, Green Bay? You said Minnesota, but Packers cover? Is that what you said? What did you say?
Packers win. Minnesota covers.
Got it.
I want to pick the Packers, but I don't know if Christian Watson's going to play in this game. He got banged up in the last game.
Good.
So, but I'm going to go Packers. I think they're rolling. Nobody wants to play the Packers. Like that's going to be a tough out in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they make it. I think they squeak in, which is incredible.
Crazy.
It's a division matchup, which kind of always makes things a little weird when you're, looking at just
yeah, right. They know each other.
Right.
They're usually closer games.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Vikings both ways. Well, if they win,
Fred,
obviously
making a power move.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Vikings in this game. I mean, they keep winning. 425. The 5-10 Rams are at the 9-6 Chargers. Both teams at home, but the Chargers are at home.
It's a Chargers -6.5. So they've clinched a playoff spot. Get some more Brandon Staley doing the little yoga. You got a name on that one?
Yeah, it's called the
Utkatasana.
It's called performative
cat
coaching.
pose. Cat pose.
Cat cows is what I know it as.
Yeah.
According to Kyle Van Noy, that's a real coach. By the way,
right.
Oh yeah, because he has
He's-
relationships with
He's
everybody.
friends with everybody.
Not
just some guys.
They go out after practice, get
Dude,
beers.
He knows he's got
happy hour.
my phone in his cell phone.
Yeah.
Speed dial.
Two cat cows together. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lack. I think they're rolling right now, both ways.
Yeah, me too.
I don't even know who's playing quarterback for the Rams in this game.
Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter. I want to pick against the Chargers because they have these letdown games where they've already clinched a playoff berth, and it just feels like one of those wonky Chargers games.
I see that.
But I'm going to take. I think Justin Herbert has figured it out a little bit here in terms of winning. Right, he's always a good quarterback, but now I feel like he's got it rolling. Chargers.
I agree. I think Chargers win this game. All right, 8:20 on NBC. The 7-8 Steelers are at the 10-5 Ravens. Another big divisional game.
Ravens by 2.5. Yeah, big game. We don't know about Lamar though, right? He's still kind of up in the air.
Probably not.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go for it with Baltimore. I think they got a little more to play for at this point. They need it. I'm gonna take Baltimore.
Yeah, me too. Ravens, both ways.
Steelers are still in it somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a very, very
join the
long
club.
shot because the tiebreakers are not in their favor, but they're still in it. Kenny Pickett's playing a little bit better these days, but I'm still taking Baltimore.
What's that number again?
2.5.
Only 2.5. Boy, if the number was bigger, I'd take the Steelers. I'm just going to take the Ravens here. They find a way, even without Lamar. All right, Monday night, 8:30. 12-3 Bills are at the 11-4 Bengals.
Great game. We got Cincinnati is getting a point. So Buffalo by 1 on the road against Cincinnati. Great playoff preview. Man, just so impressed with Burrow, how calm and collected he is in the pocket.
I'll tell you, though, if he makes those mistakes against the Bills, he loses.
Maybe, yeah. I got to go with Buffalo, though. I still think they're the best team. I'm going to go Buffalo both ways.
Buffalo, both ways.
I'll go with the Bills as well. I think this is one of those games where you want to make a statement like, I'm the best quarterback in the NFL, not you. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. And I think Josh Allen does that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills. If the Bills win this game, 13-3,
KC can still.
Yeah.
The Bengals would be then out of the number 1 seed race, and they would be if Baltimore wins, then they're right up against it in the division too. So
yeah. Paul went Cincinnati both ways.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay. All right. He didn't like the spot.
Yeah, what did you got, Fred?
Bills.
Bills,
yep. All right, now we go back to Sunday at 1. The 8-7 Dolphins visit the 7-8 Patriots.
Ooh-wee. Patriots -3 at this point.
Patriots are favored.
Still?
I do like the Patriots in this one. I think it's 3 points, though, is about the range of where I think it's going to be a close one. I will take the Patriots to win, and I'll lay the points. But I think it's a low 20s kind of a game. I'm going to go Patriots 23-20. 23-19. I don't want to pick a push, but I'll go Pats both ways.
Good job, Paul. No push.
I'm going to take the Patriots. We'll do 24-21.
I'm taking the Dolphins. I wanted to take the Patriots in this game, but no Marcus Jones is no bueno for New England, especially with all the other cornerback injuries that I just don't know how they match up on defense in this game enough.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that the Dolphins are going to score 40, but I go 21-16 Miami. Again, the Patriots have the ball in the fourth quarter and find a way to mess it up.
Oh, come on.
Sorry, it's just the way it's gone.
It's just what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't pick it.
Yeah, in a prove-nothing game, the Patriots win 19-16. So they figure it out. They do take chances on defense. It pans out early enough for the Patriots to get a lead, and they end up holding on for a 19-16 win.
The Patriots start out well. That's something that I've been waiting for
Me
with this
too.
team. Can you have a good first quarter?
I've been hitting that this week. That's my Deuce's key to the game. I just like to see a game where they start well, get some confidence, feel like, hey, we're going, just some good energy going, and maybe some inspiration to the defense. Hey, we got some help today from the other side of the ball. Like I said, it's a rotating cast of like, don't turn it over, don't take too many penalties.
So do you think
good start.
Kendrick Bourne comes out and like from the start has a lot of reps?
No.
No? Really?
You know why I think no to that is because I
It's a
really
rotating cast of
it looks bad, right? If he comes out and has another 100-yard game, and they've been sitting him on the bench all season long,
So you're not going to do it for optics? Though?
Yes,
when you have to clinch the
with
playoffs?
this coaching staff, 100%.
No,
For
come
spite.
on. Who else are they going to throw it to? Devontae Parker, concussion protocol.
Right.
Everyone
Alex,
has
I'm
a
just
concussion.
telling you.
If they do that and it's only because of optics, that's what are we doing?
I've been asking myself that question all season.
That's a fireable offense.
This is the NFL. What are we doing?
All right.
R.I.P. Pele,
I
by the
can
way.
tell you what we are doing. We're getting ready for Catch 22. It's coming up right now. And they're going to be live on video, so we're not going to audio. Staying with the video for the guys. So stay tuned for that. If we didn't get to your call or email, you still got another hour. So Alex and Evan are up next. As for us, pregame social, 10:45 on Sunday. Postgame show. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.